Good evening. Yes. Good evening, Gianna Marie and Mel. Now that you can actually hear my voice, say it. Oh, don't worry about overwhelming me, Mel. The only way we're ever going to get through this life is if we do it together. Being alone and thinking that you don't have a message to share is never going to get us anywhere. All it does is just close us in and makes it worse for yourself and for others. Just remember that. Share your story. Share your pain, your triumphs, everything. Pigeon Mac, Kitty good evening. Murdaugh Mayhem. I hope you are all doing well. I hope that you had a great week, I guess, because it's not even the weekend. I know normally we only meet on Sundays for this, but Broken Justice, good evening. Theresa, good evening. And it's true, Mel. It is absolutely true. None of us are alone. That's why I'm such a big advocate for, you know, every single person out there. We all have a voice. We have experiences. We have triumphs. We have our pain. And you think that you're the only one, or anyone thinks that they're alone in what they're going through. There's somebody else out there that could find that story and that can relate to it, and they can understand that they're not alone, that there's somebody else going through the same thing. Maybe it's different. Maybe they're going through something else, but they can be compassionate, and they can understand, that their day is just not as bad. You just have to be willing to share it. Put pen to paper, and I really do mean that. You can do it. Today is your kid's 13th your kid's birthday party is 13 tomorrow. Wow. 13. True. Lemon Pie, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I know, on a Friday. Way too many things going on. I had to move it from Sunday when we normally have trivia to tonight, Friday. And good evening, Carly. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a great week. Glad you could be here with us. And Juicy Jules. Good evening, Juicy Jules. Give it about another minute and a half here for people to join in. Yeah, I sent out 24 emails. Some of them got bounced back because I probably, because I was trying to move all of them into one email account and, to send the messages out, because I have people spread out over 3 different email addresses who are here. But I tried to send out messages to everybody, on Monday and Tuesday this past week, that I had to move trivia to Friday night instead of Sunday. And yes, happy birthday to your 13-year-old. 13. You've got yourself a teenager in the house. Oh boy. Boy, 13. 13 was definitely an awkward age for me. Tell you a short little story if you want to hear it about being 13 and and being me. So we used to have to take a transit bus. Now they had school buses for elementary schools, but if you were in high school or middle school, or you went to this particular school that I went to, They didn't have the school bus because it's so far away. From our house to the school was about 5.5 miles, and they didn't have a school bus that would run that route back then. So they used to have old buses. They were not like a transit bus that you would see today in a city. Now picture a Greyhound bus. Okay, one door, one exit, no two doors. All right, and they would pick students up at one central location, and then it would go straight to the high school and middle school, and then it'd come back to that area. That's all it would do. It never ran side routes up and down side streets or anything else. Well, I moved around a lot, and as a teenage boy, 13 years old of age, I had this girl who, um, looking back on it now in hindsight, was pretty sweet on me, but I didn't know what the hell to do. I didn't. I didn't know how to deal with the situation in an appropriate manner. So I'd get off that. I'd go to school. I'd get on the bus, come back to that that central location where everybody some parents would meet the kids all there, and other ones would just walk. But I'd get off the bus, and she'd want to talk to me. And some days she would follow me home, and I was like, "Why is she following me home? I want to go home. I want to play, the Intellivision. I think it was the system we had back then, or maybe it was the original Atari Pong. Bing, bing, bing. Might have been that, or Atari with the actual cartridge. It was one of those early systems. I wanted to get home and do that. I wanted to do anything except talk to her. And I would run in the opposite direction and take like a 3 block loop to go back to my house, and she'd be sitting on my front porch. And I did that for the longest time. Didn't know how to deal with it. Again, like I said, I was an awkward, kid. And she's still, to this day, she's one of my best friends. I don't know why. I'm not that likable, am I? Hope I didn't miss anybody. I'll look at the chat. We got the same cohorts of people in here. All right, let's get the trivia night going, ladies and gentlemen. So all the trivia questions tonight are about Alex Murdaugh, the killer himself. This is the 326th episode of Trivia Night. If you're new here and you're just watching and listening, and you are like, what the hell is this? Why would I ever want to watch this stuff? Well, my name's Will, and I'm a reporter, and I run the channel 411 Now. We normally play trivia on Sundays, but because of things that have come up in my life, things that are out of my control, we had to move it to Friday night because I can't do it Sunday. So this is, like it says on the thumbnail, this is a special event. This is the 326. There are 325 previous trivia nights. You can find about 270 of them on my channel. All right. Alex Murdaugh. Do you see the word family after I killed my, and then it looks like it's blank? It should say family. For some reason, every time that I have put this little piece right here together, it has deleted the word family. Maybe it's Google just saying to me, hey, you know what? You're going to get in trouble with whatever's going on, whoever you're streaming this to. But, maybe it's there. Maybe you see it. Maybe you don't. I don't see it on my end. It just looks like a giant blank space after I killed my blank. And good evening, Sal, and welcome to tonight's trivia. All right, some of this content that I'm streaming to is not obviously, meant for all ages, and it's definitely not meant for those under the age of 16. It actually is restricted on every platform that I stream to. I am streaming with private software to several different platforms. So, and then there's the law that pertains to it and everything else. The only one that doesn't, follow the platforms is ByteDance and TikTok, because though they're not an American company and they don't really care about our laws, and that's the truth. Question number 1 is now on the screen. What profession was Alex Murdaugh known for? Was it A, a clown, B, a professional boxer, C, an attorney, D, a CIA undercover operator, or E, other? You guys don't see the word family either. Yeah. It's got to be Google who's blocking it. Because I think I see it on when I go back and I preview it, it's there. But when I click on it here in the actual stream, it's not showing the word family there at all. Sal and Kitty Q, Gianna Marie, Theresa, Lemon Pie are all going with C, professional neck hugger. Oh, Carly, that's good. That's good. Funny, but definitely funny. Left-handed RN, good evening. And welcome to tonight's trivia. Pigeon Max going with C as well. Question number 1 of 20. Killer lawyer Alex Murdaugh. Pigeon Mac used Yugo salesman. If you're new here and you see references to mountain lions, Jersey Shore, or 144,000 from the Book of Revelations, or Yugos or methamphetamines, they're all inside jokes, and you need to subscribe and keep on coming back and watching so you catch them all. Noteworthy, good evening. Noteworthy is going with C as well. I hope you had a wonderful week. Noteworthy. The correct answer is C as in cat. C is the correct answer. Question number 2. In what state did Alex Murdaugh family primarily reside and die in? Was it A, Mississippi, B, North Carolina, C, Alabama, D, South Carolina, or E, other? And yes, Juicy Jules, poor son and wife. Question number 2 of 20. What state did the family primarily reside in? Lieutenant RN is going with D. So is Carly. Ooh, that came in quick. A whole bunch of them did. Sal, Kitty Q, Pigeon, Max, Mel, and Noteworthy are all going with D. Question number 2. Gianna Marie, S. Oh, well, D or S, they're close to each other. S could be a possible answer, just like F, G, H, I. We see a little bit of everything in here, don't we? All right, question number 2. The correct answer is D, as in dog. You'd think he'd be smarter being a lawyer. You would think, but he wasn't. Question number 2 is D, South Carolina. They primarily resided in South Carolina. Now, the reason why I had to put in their primary resided in and die in is because they did own property that was outside of the South Carolina, but they primarily resided in South Carolina. Question 3 of 20. What prominent legal dynasty did Alex Murdaugh belong to? Was it A, dynasty in Low Country, B, a dynasty in Pasco County, C, a dynasty in Fremont County, D, a dynasty in Dade County, or E, other? What prominent legal dynasty did Alex Murdaugh belong to? Question number 3 of 20. Smoke them if you got them. I forgot to put myself in my little window. Will in his little window. Question number 3 of 20. Gianna Marie is going with D. Juicy Jules. Yeah, E. It could be another. Lemon Pie is going with C. Puff Puff Wind, says Pigeon Mac. Mel is going with A. Carly A. Pigeon Mac A. Quick, Kitty Coo A. Question mark? Question mark? Could be A. I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. Dynasty of the Situation. Situation from the Jersey Shore. Dynasty of Greed and Desperate. True. Question number 3 of 20. Which one is it? The correct answer is A as an apple. Left-handed RN right there at the buzzer. A as an apple. Low County belonged to a dynasty in Low County. Prominent legal dynasty. Low County. All right. Did you know? Maybe it was the drugs. Maybe it was the pure greed he had. Regardless of which it was, Alex Murdaugh lost just as much money playing the stock market as he did to his drug addiction. And good evening, Heather. Good evening. Glad you could be here with us, Heather. Yes, Alex Murdaugh was not exactly somebody who should be day trading or be taking any kind of financial advice for. He was terrible at it. According to his broker with Dean Winter, he was a terrible individual at betting money on the stock market, because basically the stock market is just a high class casino for rich people. Although certain places like Robinhood have definitely opened up the market to people from any financial background, friends in low places. All right. Now I got the Garth Brooks song in my head. Thank you. All right. Question number 4. Which 2 family members of Alex Murdaugh were found murdered in 2021? Was it A, Bubba and Buster, B, Polly Shore and Maggie May, C, Maggie and Paul, or D, Jim Bob and Maggie May, or E, other? Call him the money pit, right? He did take a lot of pills. That is absolutely true, Sal. I did a video about that. Just his what he said, the sheer amount of oxycodone that he was taking per day. I mean, how the hell did his gut not fall the hell out of him? It's unbelievable. But then again, I guess there are people out there that do a heck of a lot more than that. But if he had taken the pills equivalent to the money he spent, he would have died on the spot. True. Yeah, but what he spent in it all, Maggie and Papa. We got Lemon Pie, Gianna Marie, Heather, Mel are going with C. Kitty Q, Sal, Teresa, Pigeon McJules, Carly are all going with C as well. Broken Justice is going with C as well. It's not medically possible. I don't think so either, Mel, but oh, there are people who they couldn't get the right dosage, like strength of certain oxycontin, so they couldn't get the whatever it might have been. Let's just say maybe it was only 10 milligrams, and then the rest of it was acetaminophen, whatever. I don't know what the hell they make the stuff out of, but let's just hypothetically say it was that. And they're used to taking 40, so they'd have to take four of those, and you take that times 24 hours in a day, you know that's an awful lot of pills. Sunny and shares, says Pigeon Mac. People can get really big tolerances. That is true. Lemon pie is going with Donnie and Marie, the Osmonds. Can't imagine how he could even function. No, no. But I've met people who are former, they lived through the opioid addiction, and they had doctors that were shoveling more opioids down their throats than they could possibly take in a day. So they went into sales. They was like, oh, I need 40 a day, and I can, get in a script for 60. And then they go to another place and they double that. And that doctor would give them a script for 60. So now they got 120. So they'd start selling their pills on top of the 40, or 60, whatever they needed. It's amazing. But question number 4, the correct answer is C, as in cat. Maggie and Paul were murdered in 2021. He had to take the amount he claimed he wouldn't have been able to function. True, to a large extent, but again, the tolerances. There are people out there. I've known people who are serious alcoholics who, without an actual alcohol, they don't function at all. They go into DTs, withdrawals. And I knew a guy who used to drive like a pilot car, for like heavy equipment on the freeway. He was like the guy in front of the heavy equipment, and he used to have a cooler of beer on the passenger seat of his car. And if he didn't have his 8, 9 beers throughout the day of driving the car, he couldn't function, and he could not, see, drive straight, nothing. But he had to have that. And when he went in for surgery on his back, because he was in an accident that wasn't even his fault, it wasn't a piece of equipment he was like getting ready to pilot. They had loaded it and it fell off of the trailer and it hit his car and crushed it. Anyways, but he went in for surgery, and they actually gave him medical doses of alcohol for him to drink while he was in the hospital, before surgery and then after. And eventually he died of cirrhosis of the liver. But I mean, he was one messed up individual. But he drank enough to function, to get through the day, and you wouldn't even know that he had been drinking. All right. Question number 5. What type of law did Alex Murdaugh primarily practice in South Carolina? Was it A, wills and trusts, B, corporate law, C, financial advisor, or D, personal injury, or E, other? Oh, I don't know if I would be surprised, Carly. I've seen people take more than that, 20 plus pills a day. It all depends on what they're taking and the dosages, I guess. But if they're strong dosages, I would probably be surprised at that point. How some of these people live and how people survive the opioid crisis. There's some really good documentaries out there on that. And These pill mills were just shoveling. The doctors and pharmacies were in cahoots together, along with the pharmaceutical companies, and they were killing people, and they knew it. They didn't care. And all we did was give them a slap on the wrist for what they have to, their fines for what, 25, 30% of the total profits is all they got fined for. They made billions and they killed people and they didn't care. But that's the world we live in, though. We got a lot of D's. D, really, real happy 33. Welcome. And I'm glad you could be here tonight with us for trivia. Those pills can be $100 a piece. They ain't cheap. Shame. I didn't know that. All right, question number 5 of 20. What type of law did Alex practice in South Carolina? The correct answer to question number 5 is D, as in dog. He was a personal injury attorney. That's what he practiced primarily. That is not the only type of law that Alex actually practiced, though. He did practice some wills in his state, and he did some property law as well. But his primary practice, with his law firm was in personal injuries. Alrighty, question number 6. What was Paul Murdaugh involved in that sought significant and massive attention prior to his murder? Was it A, drug sales, B, a fatal boat crash that killed Mallory Beach, C, a fatal car crash that killed Bubba, D, being a cast member of the Jersey Shore, or E, other? I think Kitty Q, the last one I saw on the opioid addiction crisis was it was on Vox, VOX, or it could have been Vox and BuzzFeed together, but eventually ended up on Discovery Channel or Nova or some other channel, because BuzzFeed pretty much almost went completely belly up. Pigeon Mac hooking up with Snooki. We got Lemon Pie, Real Happy, Teresa, Heather, Deanna Marie, all B. Anybody go with anything different? And no, we got B, 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 B. I think everybody's clued in on B. Juicy Jules, VLB. Question number 6 of 20. What was Paul Murdaugh involved in and brought significant and massive attention prior to his murder? The correct answer to question number 6 is B, as in boy. Fatal boat crash that killed Mallory Beach. Best buds with Pauly Shores is Lemon Pie. All right. Question. Oh, no. Question. Next one is, did you know? Years before the House of Cards came falling apart, Alex Murdaugh joked with another attorney outside the courthouse about someday he could lose it all, meaning the house, the farms, the car, and the money. This was years prior, almost 4 years to be exact, on when he joked with this attorney who worked for a competing law firm. He was the other side representing the actual insurance company on a claim. He joked with him that he could someday lose it all, the house, the farm, the cars, and all the money. If only we knew, looking back on it all now. Question number 7. What date did Alex Murdaugh gun down his wife, his son, and his family on his family property? Was it A, June 23rd, 2020, B, April 10th, 2021, C, June 7th, 2021, D, July 4th, 2022, or E, other? Alex Murdaugh called it the boat wreck. He knew his karma was coming. He might have known that really real happy. He might have known. I'm just surprised he got away with all of it for so long. So many people knew about, what was going on with him financially. And I'm sure quite a few people knew about his drug activity on top of it all. But yet, nobody said anything. If they would have spoke up, they would have taken his license away to be a lawyer, suspended it, put him on probation, something. And who knows? Maggie and Paul might still be here today. Might be here still today. But the way it is now, they're not. Because nobody spoke up. Lemon Pines, Lieutenant Orange, Heather, Sal, Kitty Q. Everybody's going with C on this one. June 7th, 2021. Question number 7 of 20. I think Grandpa Murdaugh shot one that night, and Alex got the other. DJ Better. Welcome to tonight's trivia, DJ Better. I'm not entirely sure 100% what happened that night. I know this much, DJ Better. I wasn't there. So I can't say conclusively 100% what happened. But I do know this much. He was one giant piece of excrement for all the things that he did and all the money he stole from all of his clients. People who put their trust in him to right a wrong. He broke that trust and he did what he wanted to do. Question 7. The correct answer is C as in cat. June 7th, 2021. Question 8. What substance abuse problem did Alex Murdaugh later admit to having for several years? Was it A, crack addiction, B, meth addiction, C, alcohol addiction, D, opioid addiction, or E, other? And Colleen, 41, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful week. What substance abuse problem did Alex Murdaugh later admit to having for several years? I'll be right back. I have to answer the door. It's 7:30 at night. My son would like to know if he can have a popsicle. I'm like, What'd your mom say? He just looks at me, and I'm like, yeah, I know what he's doing. Mommy already said no, so he came to me, knocking on the door. I'm like, oh, okay. But he was also addicted to lies, deceit, and highway robbery. Yeah. You surprised you didn't claim a sex addiction? The snack of champions, says Pigeon Mac. Popsicles. I took one look at his face and I was like, really? You want a popsicle? Friday let him have a popsicle. Yeah. Unfortunately, real happy. He's 8 years old, and if he has a popsicle at this hour, he'll be up until probably 11:30, 12 o'clock. Give him sugar at this hour. But yeah, it is Friday. But he has things he has to do tomorrow. Tomorrow he has day camp, and then going to grandma's house, and that's the last thing we need to do is send him to grandma's house wired off his his ever living mind. Grandma probably will send him back that way, but we can't send him that way. All right, question number 8. The correct answer is D as in dog. He admitted later on to having an opioid addiction. Opioids. All right, question number 9. Believe it or not, Alex Murdaugh actually tried to orchestrate his own death by hiring a complete moron to shoot him. When was this? Was it A, 2019, B, 2021, B, 2018, D, 2022, or E, other? Believe it or not, Alex Murdaugh actually tried to orchestrate his own death by hiring a complete moron to shoot him. When was this? Just Jules and Carly are going with D. Go DJ is going with B. Pigeon Mac, Lemon Pie D, and a real happy B. Question number 9 of 20. Lemon Pie, 1000 BC. No one wants to go in the year 2525. Will man still be alive? Teresa, just Jules are both going with B. Sal D. Question number 9. Colleen is going with A. Cousin Eddie. Cousin Eddie makes an appearance tonight. Too bad he failed. Uncle Fester. Dun 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 dun. Well, I stand corrected. Uncle, it was cousin. It has to be close to the shooting because it was on his mind. Colleen says. Question number 9 of 20. The correct answer is B as in boy. 2021 is when he paid this absolute moron to shoot him. Yeah. Well, you'll learn more about it as we go on. Question. No, did you know? Not trying to speak ill of the dead. However, according to former classmates of Paul Murdaugh, most of the school knew he had a drinking problem and wasn't exactly popular. He had a close group of 6 friends, and that is all. A lot of the time at school. He could be sitting by himself in the quad, and I have no idea what that means, quad in this reference, waiting for someone to talk with him. I have no idea. That is just, I copied it exactly how it is, and I actually put the word quad in quotes because I have no idea what that is. Quad of what? I know what a quad is and the numeral is, but what is it? Is it like, a bunch of buildings that all come to a point? Is it a meeting area? Is it like a picnic table that has that many sides? I have no idea. It's just the actual, quote that I had to copy and paste. So did you know that though? He wasn't very popular, and a lot of kids at school knew he had a drinking problem. Paul did. One twit trying to hit another twit. Quad is usually a gathering area in high school. I kind of gathered that from DJ, but I don't know what it is. Like where? I looked at the overhead map of the school, and I don't see an outdoor area, at least or a bunch of buildings that come together, or anything that looks like it would be a quad. I don't know. But question 10 is on your screen now. Who did Alex Murdaugh hire to shoot him in the head with a rusty old gun that was known to jam and misfire? Was it A, James Dean, B, James Gardner, C, Curtis Smith, D, Sammy Bubba Plotter, or E, other? Who did Alex Murdaugh hire to shoot him in the head with a rusty old gun that was known to jam and misfire? Question number 10 of 20. Ooh. All right. I missed that comment. Hold on. Let me scroll up. Quad is an area where students gather between classes, lunchtime, socialize. Mel says quad of the socially unpopular. Maybe a hidden place between buildings. It could be, Mel. I tried to find another reference to it. Kitchen Mac is going with James Cameron. But I tried to find another reference to the quad at the school, and going back years before and years, the year after. I mean, anything that anybody said, maybe like in a yearbook as a quote or something like that. Me at the quad was the best or something. Anything with a quad, I could not find it. That was just the only reference I've ever been able to find of what about this quad at the school. I'm sure it's a real place. It could be like a bunch of like hallways or something like that all meet together. I don't know. Your guess would be as good as mine. But James Cameron. Who did Alex Murdaugh hire to shoot him in the head with a rusty old gun that was known to jam and fire? Pigeon Mag. Hashtag quad life. Josie Jewel is going with E. Heather is going with C. You went beyond the Call of Duty, Will. I try my best at these, Mel, to try to find references, at least a couple references to each and every question. And the did you know is just the same as every question on the trivia. Try to find references that explain the question itself, or confirm the question and answer. All right, question number 10. Usually means an open outdoor space on a university people gather and socialize. Thank you, Lemon Pie. All right. Question number 10. The correct answer is C as in cat. He paid Curtis Smith to shoot him alongside of the road and make it look like a robbery. And the gun that Curtis Smith was to use was an old gun that was rusty and jammed and misfired a lot. Why he couldn't pay him to use a better gun or to supply a higher caliber gun that wasn't going to just graze him and leave him, alive. Well, there are no quads when you and I were in school. Now, I've never heard of the reference myself, Lieutenant RN. Okay, that is the first 10 questions. If you're new here, you might find this a little shocking. After the first 10 questions, we take a 6-minute break. You do what you need to do for the next 6 minutes. Use the facilities, make yourself a sandwich or something to drink, smoke a bowl, do whatever you need to do. Shotgun 10 beers. I don't care what you do for the next 6 minutes because it's you. And you do it while we all take a break. And then we'll be back for 10 more questions. Plus, we have the what I do every single Sunday. I highlight one person from America that is missing and endangered. It could be a child, it could be an adult, they could be missing a day, they could be missing 50 years. But I highlight one person with the 4 different groups that I highlight this individual with. The FBI, Center for Missing and Exploited Children, name us in the Charlie Project. I highlight one person each week that is missing and endangered, and somebody may have a clue or a tip that could be called in to help solve this case. These are real people, and it's at the end. But we will be back in 6 minutes for the other 10 questions on tonight's trivia. Do, 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 do. So I get to get up at 4:30 in the morning. Well, I have to leave my house by 4:30 in the morning. Probably have to get up at about 3, get a shower in, eat. Then I get to leave. At 4:30, I have to leave. I have to go to my local municipal golf course. I'm filling in for somebody who's supposed to be running the actual charity event. I have to help set up all the tables, banners, sponsorships at each and every hole on the golf course. And then I have to play in the actual tournament itself. I have to take this person's everything they were supposed to do. I have to do it for them tomorrow. They came down with COVID. So I have to fill in for them. I've never played in this tournament before. I'm ill prepared for it, but yeah, it's good. My tea time tomorrow is at 9 a.m. exactly. But we know it's a chore because the golf course and the people who run the place are ill prepared for everything. And we have no idea what challenges are going to pop up. We might get there and find out they can't find the tables, or they can't find the keys to unlock the cabinets and storage where the tables are. We never know this course. That's what you just read, Mel? Maybe it's like a meeting area inside. Pitch and Mac, I golf every single week. I will golf until there's snow on the ground. But I am very ill prepared for what I have to do tomorrow. Because the person who I'm filling in for is the person who normally he runs the thing, and he gets everything organized, and then people get signed in. He makes sure that they paid. He makes sure that all the checks have come in and cleared from the banks. I don't have to do that part. I do have to make sure that anybody who pays tomorrow gets checked off, and that the course gets their cut of it, and then the rest of it goes into a bank bag, and then that gets deposited into the safe at the course. But we're raising money for coats for kids, along with the International Brotherhood of Firefighters. So it's the two different charities together, raising money for coats for kids that provide winter coats, hats, and gloves and stuff like that for needy children. And we got just about 2 minutes left of the break. Well, I ain't worried about the kiddie queue. I'm not worried about the golf part. It's just the rest of it. I think in my entire life, I've probably about 15 years ago, I helped run a golf tournament through the Loyal Order of the Moose, which I'm still a member of. I will be for life because I have a life membership. But yeah, that was a long time ago. And that was maybe 20, 25 people. We're talking about 160 people total who were in this tournament that are signed up and paid. There's always going to be those last minute issues that pop up. Real Happy 33, your quad was inside of your school. What was it, Real Happy? Was it like Mel found that's a meeting area inside of the school? We got 30 seconds left. I'm not going to do that for 30 seconds, though, but 30 seconds. I've just never heard of what the word quad as in being some part of a school where people hang out. It's outside by 4 buildings. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed your 6-minute break. Question number 11 is now on your screen. Which organization did Alex Murdaugh resign from after the embezzlement surfaced? Was it A, PMPED, his law firm, B, the St. Croix Police Department, C, the South Carolina Senate, D, the North Carolina Senate, or E, other? And Real Happy 33 says it was just an open, empty area where we stood and sat and socialized. Okay. It's where they stretched their quads. Ha da da da. Since it's good, Pigeon Mac. It's where they stretched their quads. Stretch, stretch. Ooh, Real Happy, Pigeon Mac, Lori Nick 65. Good evening, Lori Nick 65, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Kitty Q, Sal, Gina P. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Gina P. Lemon Pie and Lieutenant RN. Gina P. is changing from B to A, and Theresa is going with A as well. PMPED, his law firm. Weight Watchers. It's Lemon Pie. Juicy Jules is going with B. Mel Stiller is going with A. Hello and thank you. Well, I'm glad you could be here, Lori. Always welcome everyone who comes into the play trivia with us. It's a fun game. We're only playing for fun and entertainment, and there's nothing but a great bunch of people who are here in the comment section. All right, question number 11. The correct answer is A, as in Apple. PMPED, his law firm. Gina P didn't have your glasses. There is no way I could even see the screen, if I don't have my glasses on. I'm blind as a bat. Well, I feel like I am without my glasses. All right, question number 12. What is Alex Murdaugh's only surviving son's name? Is it A, Connor, B, Bubba, C, Billy Bob, not Billy Joe, Billy Bob, or D, Buster, or E, other? I play for fun and spend time with great friends. Yes, you do, Mel. That's why we're here. Have fun, entertainment, might learn something. You never know. Alex Murdaugh's only surviving son is one of these. Is it Connor, Bubba, Billy Bob, or Buster? Pick of a name. Question number 12 of 20. Just Jules is going with D. DJ is going with Buster. Anna Marie. D as well. D seems to be a very popular option. And Bubba seems to be another popular one. Question 12. Mel Stiller. I learn a lot from these quizzes, Will. Well, good. So do I. And at the end of it all, I will tell you how many of these 20 questions total I knew, like I do every single week, how many I knew before I put this together. And you might be surprised. Lemon pie is going with pineapple on pizza. Alex Murdaugh's only surviving son is pineapple on pizza. It makes just as much sense, lemon pie. All right, question number 12. The correct answer is D, as in dog, Buster. Buster is his only surviving son. Question number 13. What financial crimes was Alex Murdaugh charged with and convicted of? Was it A, running a Ponzi scheme, B, embezzlement, C, check fraud, check washing scheme, or D, misappropriation of funds, or E, other? Sal says, I like pineapple and ham on pizza. Yum. Don't they call that a Hawaiian pizza, Sal? Nobody wants to eat the pizza that I order. Nobody. My family, I order a pizza and I always get it my own pizza. Everybody else, gets pizzas that they want to have slices from. Well, I'll try a slice from that one. I'll try a slice from that one. I'll have some of this. But nobody eats mine. Carly is going with D. Gianna Marie, Heather, and Theresa are going with B. Kitty Q, question mark, D. And Lori is going with D as well. Mel, D. Ooh, DJs, B or D? All I know is he stole a lot of people's money by lying. That's true. Pitcher Mac says they call it Hawaiian, but it's actually Canadian. That is true. Mr. Frosty's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Looking like an angry junior jackass. That's the Mr. Frosty we love. DJ is, I'll go with D. Love small anchovies, salty, juicy jewels. You're right up my alley there. All right, I'll tell you what I always get on my pizza. I always get my pizza with either Alfredo or a butter sauce, all right, and anchovies and fresh, if they have it, either well, I'm trying to explain how this is. It's kind of like a pesto sauce. I don't like tomato sauce. You know, that's canned crap that they put on pizzas. I don't like that stuff at all. And no cheese at all. Because once I get the pizza home, I put then fresh mozzarella cheese on the pizza itself. I say, don't cut it and no cheese on the pizza. And I put fresh mozzarella on it myself. And then I put it in the oven on a stone. So it actually, with a little bit of cornmeal underneath it. And then I bake it while everybody else is gorging themselves on pizza. I wait. And then I have the pizza that I like. Ooh, olives and garlic. Pesto pizza is good, but pesto pizza. Well, the one place that we order from, it's more pine nut than basil forwarded like sauce. It's like a butter sauce with more pine nuts in it. Love it. All right, I don't eat pizza a whole lot though. I very maybe once a month, if that. Question number 13 though. What did he actually get charged with and convicted of? Question number 13 is B, embezzlement. Was the actual charges. Now, yeah, he did misappropriation of funds and check fraud is definitely in there. Running a Ponzi scheme, you know, he definitely you could argue for all of the above. You know, he was definitely taking money from one client to pay the others as he stole the money from one to pay the others and so on. And other ones, he just straight off told them that he hadn't gotten the settlement yet and never paid them at all. You know, and that happened a lot. So you could say he was running a Ponzi scheme. You could say he was running a check fraud thing because he was cashing the settlement checks and he was doing, basically a check washing scheme where he was washing one payment with another and misappropriation of funds. You could say any of them. So I don't care if you guessed A, B, C, or D, or E. You are absolutely probably correct, if you want to argue it, but I don't want to argue it. Do you want to argue it? Go right ahead. Mel, B, and not D. All right. But yeah. Did you know the drug addiction was clearly getting to Alex Murdaugh years prior to his arrest for murdering his family? According to a former friend, that's his actual language form. He's a former friend. Every partner in the firm stopped trusting him with higher profile cases and having him as co-counsel because they knew he was stealing the money, but nobody knew to what extent he was actually doing it and how bad it was. Kittico, he robbed Peter to pay Paul. That's true. Question number 14. What item did Alex Murdaugh claim was stolen from him during his staged shooting, where he paid the moron to shoot him at the roadside? Was it A, his wallet, B, his briefcase, C, his cell phone, D, his prison purse, or E, other? What item did Alex Murdaugh claim was stolen from him during his staged shooting, where he paid the moron to shoot him at the roadside? This is in the actual police report itself, in case you're wondering where this piece came from. I had to write it down because he later changed the entire story. But in the actual initial police report, he says that he was robbed. What did he say was stolen from him? Question number 14 of 20. DJ, I don't know. Pigeon Mac, his prison purse. Da-da-da. If you know what it is. Gianna Marie is going with A and D. His wallet, his prison purse. Laurie is going with C. I know his son's rifles went missing. Right? Why don't you remember that? Gina, prison purse. I think Gina understands what it is. Question number 14 of 20. 14 of 20. Get him. He stole my prison purse. Mel going with A. Heather is going with A as well. What did he initially say was stolen from him during the stage shooting? Of course, he didn't originally admit that it was a stage shooting. He did later on. Just Jules is going with A as well. Question number 14 of 20. Has to be wallet. Justify the theft, says Mel. Question number 14 of 20. The correct answer is not A. No. In his initial statement to the police department on, the shooting and what took place that day, he said his cell phone was stolen from him. His cell phone. He was at the roadside and his cell phone was stolen from him by the perpetrator who then shot him. His cell phone. Sal, maybe his pink lace panties. I bet he's wearing them now, though. Da-dun-dun-dun-dun. But he said his cell phone was stolen from him. All right, question number 15. What position did several generations of the Murdaugh family hold in South Carolina judicial system? Was it A, public defender, B, real estate lawyer, C, district attorney, D, estate investment lawyer, or E, other? What position did several generations of the Murdaugh family hold in South Carolina judicial system? Question number 15 of 20. Wink, wink. Real Happy's going with C. Pigeon Mac, DJ, Gina are all going with C as well. Sal, Gianna is going with C. Sal, C. Lieutenant Orin, E. It's got to be other. In the South Carolina judicial system, it's got to be E. Lemon Pie and Heather are going with C as well. Movie Usher. Movie Usher in a judicial system. Over here is your seat in the gallery. Laurie's going with C. Question number 15 of 20. The correct answer is Minesweeper. No. The correct answer is C, as in cat, district attorney. A total of 4 different generations prior to Alex Murdaugh were all district attorneys. Mel, you're going to try C? C is the correct answer. Mel, district attorneys, 4 generations of people were district attorneys at some point, along with private practice. C as in cat, district attorneys. And then we get Alex. And the buck stops here. Now, I guess it doesn't technically stop here. I mean, Buster could become an attorney. I don't think he would want to, as we're about to find out here in a little bit. Question number 16. Where was Alex Murdaugh arrested at and taken into custody? Was it A, his home in South Carolina, B, at a Denny's, C, at a strip club in Michigan, or D, Orlando, Florida, or E, other? Where was Alex Murdaugh arrested at and taken into custody? I hope it's B. I like to think that he was at Denny's at late at night after hitting the strip club, and it was in South Carolina, and he was ordering himself a grand slam with pancakes. I hope that's where he was, at Denny's. I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm just saying. DJ's question. A question mark? Real Happy's going with D. So is Kitty Q. Maybe he was ordering waffles. I always think of late at night, Waffle House. What the hell do people eat at the Waffle House late at night? Pancakes, eggs, waffles, right? Maybe that's what he was doing. Getting himself something to eat before he had to go serve the rest of his life in prison. And now he has to think back on the last meal he ate from the outside was a Denny's Grand Slam meal. Denny's is kind of like Motel 6. We'll leave the light on for you. Gas station bathroom. Limited by. He was doing his business in a gas station bathroom. Pigeon Mac, the halls of Congress. Question number 16. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Murdaugh was arrested and taken into custody in Orlando, Florida. D as in dog. Orlando, Florida. Left-handed RN, just at the nick of time. With a side, Mel, waffles with a side of oxy. That's good. That's really good. All right. Did you know? When Paul was murdered, he was set to become a millionaire upon the passing of his parents or grandmother. Now, his share of the estate all passes to Buster Murdaugh. Both Buster and Paul, at the age of 16, were worth $325,000 each from a trust account that was set up by their parents and Alex's mother before they were born. Buster is now guaranteed a monthly stipend for life. He is a millionaire now. Thanks, Daddy. Absolutely true. So this trust account that was set up for Paul and for Buster from the grandfather's, grandma is still alive, from the grandfather's estate, certain amount of money was set aside to go to their children and to their children. And that money was put into a trust account until they reached the age of 16 years of age. At the age of 16, a terrible, terrible idea, but go ahead. I'm not them. They did it anyways. At the age of 16, they both started receiving a monthly check from that actual trust account. They're what some people would refer to as trust fund babies. Now, when his parents died and when his grandmother died, whichever, or all three of them died, All that money would go into the trust, a certain portion of it, after their bills and everything else. And there's probably some property that would be contested to go to other people, but that would go into the trust as well. But at 18, they got a even larger check, and then at 21, they got an even larger check. So it's 16, 18, 21. At 21, they could go in and remove 100% of the trust account if they wanted to. But they were both destined to become millionaires by the time that they were 21. I do not, and I could not find anything that actually broke down how much of the $325,000 each of them were worth was in investment in like the stock market. Maybe it was like in some of it was in bonds and stocks and or long-term treasuries. I don't know that part, so please don't ask. But anyways, that they were both at the age of 16, they were both worth $325,000. And we all know what Paul was doing with his money. I can't think that Buster was doing too much different, but I don't know for sure. But, at least he wasn't driving a boat absolutely hammered out of his mind on the way to a place or, to buy more alcohol under the age of 21 from somebody who didn't even care. They were just like, you know what? Let the rich kids just do what they want. And we all know how that worked out. And so does Mallory and Mallory's family. But anyways, next question. Question number 17 of 20. What evidence positively connected Alex Murdaugh to the time, location, and event on the shootings and killing of his wife and son? Was it A, confession and eyewitness, B, ballistic evidence and cell phone data, C, eyewitness and note from a diary, C, cell phone data and video recordings, or E, other? When I was 16, if somebody would have gave me $200, I would have felt like I was a millionaire. By 16 years of age, what was I doing? Well, I had my first job when I was 6. I worked, we had a farm, and we still have the farm. The farm is still in the family, but I was 6 years old. And that was when I had my real first job where I earned money. And then later on, besides working on the farm, I used to work in town. They're tearing down brick buildings, and I would sort bricks. Good bricks, reusable bricks, from bricks that were broken. And I would put the good reusable bricks in a pile and broken bricks that were not usable in another pile. By 16, what job was I doing by 16? I don't remember. I mean, it's not like it was like, a couple of years ago. I think I was working on an orchard. I think I was working in an orchard. I wasn't picking fruit, but I was working it, writing down the weight of the baskets that came in from each person. 16, I was in high school working at A&W. Ooh, I could use a root beer float right now. That'd be nice. Pigeon Mac was pumping gas and changing tires at 16. Working full time. DJ says his Apple Watch and Fitbit got him. Question number 17 of 20. Yeah, I think I was working on that at the orchard. I'm not sure though. So we moved from Wisconsin to here to Washington State, where I live now. But we would move back before I was 18, and then move back my senior year. Well, we moved three times my senior year. Kind of hard to put all the jobs and locations and everything together. I'd have to write it all down on paper, and then have my sister like proofread it. Question number 17 of 20. What evidence positively connected Alex Murdaugh to the time, location, and events of the shooting and killing of his wife and son? Question number 17. The correct answer is B as in boy. Ballistic evidence and cell phone data. The cell phone data put him in the location and at the time of the actual shooting. The ballistics evidence matched to the actual weapon and to the remains of the actual projectile that killed both of them. Mel didn't have a job at 16. There was no video recording that didn't, well, later on, his crying confession. I mean, that would definitely, was not, easy for him to try to, get away from. Question number 18. What was the sole purpose of Alex Murdaugh's hiring of Curtis Eddie Smith to kill him in a fake robbery alongside the rural roadside? Was it A, to save his family the embarrassment? B, place blame on someone else? C, a life insurance scam? D, be part of the 144,000? Or E, other? What was the sole purpose of Alex Murdaugh hiring Curtis Eddie Smith to kill him in the fake robbery alongside the roadside? Yeah, they did, Gina. They definitely did. There's more evidence than just the ballistics and the cell phone data. We all know that if anybody paid close attention to or even somewhat attention to it. Wasn't there something about him changing his clothes? Well, that was part of the timeline, supposedly. We have DJs going with B, Lori, Gianna, going with C, Just Jules, and Real Happy. Well, Just Jules going with B, Real Happy is going with C. So is Sal. Mel, it's a combination of B and C. Lemon pie to avoid overdue library book fees. He wanted to show people where after him and the family, says DJ. His story. I think lemon pie might be on to something now. Those overdue library books, man. You can't dodge those things. Where I actually live in Washington State, in my local community, you can't even file bankruptcy and get rid of library book fees or fees that your local municipality charges for library fees or for you can't get rid of library fees. You can't get rid of code enforcement fees, and for not trimming your trees or your shrubs or not mowing your lawn, whatever it might be. Your code enforcement, parking a camper on the street, whatever it might be. All right, you can't file bankruptcy and discharge those actual things. There's like a list of like 12, but I know those two for a fact. You can't discharge them in bankruptcy. So you got to watch out. Uh-oh. Chad Daybell has made his appearance in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh. He did it because he didn't want to have to read Chad Daybell's books. Question number 18 of 20. The correct answer is the reason why he actually hired Curtis Eddie Smith to kill him in a fake robbery along the rural roadside was C as in cat. It was a life insurance scam. He didn't really want Curtis Eddie Smith to kill him. It was all supposed to be for a life insurance scam. If he did die, he wanted the money to go to Buster. And I was like, what a dumb reason. But it was supposed to be a fake robbery. He didn't want to die, but he wanted to die. I guess you could actually argue that he wanted to save his family, the embarrassment and place blame. Again, as somebody pointed out, that there was somebody after the family, that there was, place blame somewhere else for all of it. But then again, maybe he wanted to be part of the 144,000 from the book of Revelations, like Chad and Lori. So, any answer sounds good to me. Question number 19. The Tower of Cards eventually came crumbling down around Alex Murdaugh. There was nowhere left to turn. He tried one last effort to borrow millions from who? Was it A, his bank and personal banker? B, from a law partner at his firm? C, from his mother's estate? D, from his former friend's estate? Or E, other? The Tower of Cards eventually came crumbling down around Alex. There was nowhere left to turn. He tried one last effort, though, to borrow millions from who? Becoming brainwashed like Lori? Is Lori the person who was brainwashed, or was Chad brainwashed? I think we could argue in that situation with those two that they brainwashed each other. One was looking for someone to support their bizarre theories of a doomsday prophecy. Chad was looking for that. He was looking for someone who believed in the end of times. Lori was looking for someone who would listen to all of her strange and bizarre rantings and believe them as well. Because Lori was off her fucking rocker years and years before. And even when Charles went to the police, he told them she has gone off the damn deep end now. She's always been into this weird shit, in beliefs, but she's definitely gone off her rocker. And the police should have stopped that shit right then and there. But they didn't. And unfortunately, Charles and JJ and Ty Lee all became, along with Tammy, became victims of the entire stupid thing. What I always wondered, and I still wonder to this very day about Chad and Lori, is the two of them used to hold private meetings with people, congregations, if you would. Some of them were as many as 10 people, but they would have private, individual book, Bible study, and sit down meetings with people. How many of them are still alive to this day? How many of them believe that they would, if they took their lives, or they took their family's lives, or they took the life of a child, and made them go over to the other side of the veil? How many other murders are there out there, or deaths? Because nobody has ever looked into it as far as I know, but they had meetings over the course of almost 2 years with different people in different states: Utah, Arizona, Idaho, 3 different states. They met in small groups with people, and nobody wants to look into it. That's the bigger issue. How many of them are alive? How many of them eventually, did something or did harm to their families and to themselves. And how many more are passing away tomorrow because they've all picked another date? Because Chad and Lori, don't forget, had a day where they both were going to take themselves out, or the other one was going to take the other one out, so they could cross over to the other side of the veil. Maybe they picked a different date. Maybe the other people who followed them have a different date. Maybe it's in 2025. Maybe it's Christmas Eve of 2024. All right, well, that's a complete different thing than what we're talking about here. So, question number 19. The correct answer is C, as in cat. Alex Murdaugh tried to borrow $2.3 million from his mother's and his father's estate to try to balance the books for the money that he had stolen to make it good. So at the end, as the house of cards around him was falling, he tried to borrow $2.3 million against the estate of his mother and his father's estate to make it good, but he couldn't because mom is still alive. That was the one thing that tripped him up. Well, can't borrow against everything that she owns if she's still alive and she's got to sign off on it. Did you know at the time of his arrest, Alex Murdaugh had $8,109.14 in his personal checking account, according to court records entered into evidence during his fraud conviction. The last fraud that he actually committed, he cashed the check that was given to a party that his law firm was representing, I guess the best way to say that, right? Representing. And he cashed the check and told them that he hadn't gotten the check in yet from the settlement. But at the time, his personal checking account, he had $8,109.14. And he cashed the check only because he didn't have sufficient funds to cover the check. He had his friend, who was a banker and loan officer at the bank, who approved him actually cashing the check. And he was supposed to put that into a trust account that covers for money coming in from suits going out to the actual, and then they write a check to the actual person from the law firm that covers the actual check going out. But that's what he had in his account, and that's why it was brought in the record. All right. Question number 20 of 20. What law enforcement agency took the lead in the investigation of the murder of Maggie and Paul? Was it A, the FBI, B, the DOJ, Department of Justice, C, the local police, D, SLED, the Southern Law Enforcement Division, or E, other? Ladies and gentlemen, I know we're a little bit late, but join with me in singing happy birthday to our friend, Gemma. Gemma, I know yesterday is after your birthday now, but we're all here now. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gemma. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Gemma. And here's to many more. Lemon pie. Chips. All right, question number 20 of 20. What law enforcement agency took the lead in the investigation of the murders of Paul and Maggie? The correct answer is D as in dog, SLED. The Southern Law Enforcement Division took the lead. Some people confuse it with the S being South, as in South Carolina, but it's a Southern Law Enforcement Division, SLED. They took the lead on the investigation into the murder of Maggie and Paul. All right, this is completely optional. You do not have to give yourself a letter grade. Some people like to keep track of how many they got correct and how many they didn't. But you can give yourself a letter grade based on the number that you actually got correct or not. Don't forget that next we have the, you can help solve a cold case, or case of someone missing. You can give yourself an E, even if you got 9 right. How many of the 20 questions on tonight's trivia did I know before I put together this trivia? I knew 11. 11 of them, but I was actually wrong on that. I was convinced I knew 11, but I would have gotten a C because I was actually wrong on one of them myself. I really thought I knew the answer to the question, but I was wrong about it. Somebody asked me, I would have said I'm 100% sure on that question, the answer to that question, but I was wrong. So overall, I would have gotten 10 out of 20. On Kohlberg, Gina, what is my thoughts on Kohlberg? Brian Kohlberg is guilty as snot. I think that when it comes to Brian Kohlberg, I think that he thought that he was smarter than anyone else and that he could have got away with it. Now, I went to Washington State University and I am a graduate from Washington State University. And I spent an awful lot of time at the University of Idaho, Moscow campus. And I know exactly where that house is. And I could do it damn near blindfolded. If you dropped me off at at the university, I could tell you how to walk there blindfolded. I've walked that up and down those streets so many times. Unbelievable how many times I've walked past that, where that house sat back off the road. Because it was like, the main walk. And I wasn't the only college student that did. Hundreds of, every weekend walked past there, coming back from the bars. Been following the beginning. Beginning says real happy. But yet again, Gina, I'm not I think just because I think he's guilty, I wasn't there. And I'm kind of hoping, that everything will play out in court, and there's more evidence than what we know in the public, public out here now. Hopefully, they got more than just the eyewitness of the, people spotting the car in the area, and we have some DNA on a clasp from a knife sheath that puts them there. But all right. But four people in 9 minutes, it would have taken an awful lot less for the Manson clan, when they came in and killed Sharon Tate, and them, if they would have been more into the dramatic, I guess you could say, they could have just one person could dispatch more than that. And I'm not entirely sure, 100% sure on the timeline though. What didn't one of the roommates say that they saw him in the hallway? I wish they'd be on court TV. I wish they'd be televised, period, Sal. I mean, I'm kind of hoping they, with now that it's been moved, then and it's got a new judge on it, that will actually, maybe they'll revisit that, if they're going to have it televised, but or have at least televised on delay. Something like that happens in your backyard, you really, really want to know. All right. Help solve a cold case of someone missing or deceased. You may think you don't know much, you didn't see much. That tiny little piece may be the one piece that helps close a case and brings closure to a family. Wouldn't you want someone to do the same for you if you were in these families or the situation? Call it a tip now this week. Don't wait. Just do it. All right. Now, like I said earlier, I am working with the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NAMUS, the Charlie Project, along with the FBI on this. I am not getting paid to do this. This is not a paid promotion for any of these groups. I do this out of the goodness of my heart and to bring exposure, to these actual cases of people who are missing. And I see it every week, even though I read this off. I see it in the comment section. Yeah, which one of these groups is paying you the most? Two of these groups are complete 100% supported by donations, and the other one gets grants, and the other one's a federal law enforcement agency. They ain't paying anybody to do anything. I'm doing this just to help the bring awareness to these missing cases. So tonight's missing case is of Jack Forrest Thomas. He has been missing since June 15th of 2016. I know you think that's an awful long time ago, but you never know. Someone else might have been in this area and seen him or his vehicle or something, or someone else being suspicious. We'll get into it. Last possible sighting was on the 15th of 2016. Jack is 5'8", 165 to 170 pounds. Eye color is blue. Hair is brown, but obviously, he had grayed. His hair is grayed, but he had brown hair and brown mustache before his hair grayed. Location that Jack vanished was last seen trout fishing along the backs of the Payette River in Idaho. The area does not have steep banks or rapid water where he was fishing. So if he had fallen in, he could have quickly escaped, and he is very skilled at winter and survivalist skill. Again, the picture, pay attention to the blue hat and sunglasses and the bushy mustache there. That's what it looked, it was closer to on the day of his disappearance. It's a mustache and that hat. Several search groups combed the area where Jack was last seen, spotted, and nothing was found. Did he just walk away? Is foul play involved in this? His truck was found, but everything in his truck that was fishing related, that everyone knew that he always had. He always had multiple fishing rods. He always had multiple tackle boxes. He loved to trout fishing. He tied his own, flies and stuff like that. And before he went fishing, this case was sent to me by Jack's actual family. Normally, again, I work with these 4 different foundations to highlight cases. But someone from Jack's family reached out to me and asked me if I would present this case. If you have seen anybody, in June 15th of 2016, and now I need to give you a description of what Jack was wearing that day. I went too far. All right. If there was an emergency issue, again, Jack would have known to wait if he had twisted an ankle or if he fell or something else happened to him. But he was wearing a blue windbreaker, a purple shirt, blue jeans, and that blue hat and sunglasses the day he disappeared. When we go back to the picture again, that blue hat, sunglasses, and the bushy mustache is what he looked like closely. That picture came close to the time when he actually disappeared. Again, nothing was found. His truck was found in the parking lot, and nothing, I cannot repeat this enough. Somebody had gotten into his truck and taken all of the fishing gear and everything he would have brought with him. Not just the stuff that was missing that he would have had when he went out, his trout basket, his fly rod, his ties and tackle, and anything else he may have brought with him. None of that was found along the banks where he was last spotted. Again, no steep bank, no way. If he would have fallen into the river, he would have been easily to get back out. He was fishing in a very area you can walk right up to the river's edge and walk right back out. So it's not like he was up on a high bank fishing, according to the description, where he was. And there were several fishermen who were on the other side of the river who were fishing just up from him and down from him, and nobody saw anything. He could have, I guess he could have walked away, and, faked his own death or something else happened to him. But when search parties went through, they found absolutely nothing of his fishing stuff or any signs that anything had happened to him anywhere within a quarter mile before then and a quarter mile after. We're talking a large swath of the actual bank there. This again is from June 15th of 2016. He vanished that day. His family desperately needs to know what happened to Jack. If you know anything, what happened to Jack, or know what happened to maybe you saw somebody who shouldn't have, they're not a fly fisherman, and they turned up somewhere around there, within that area, and they had a whole bunch of fly rods and tackle and basket and stuff like that. Why would they ever use it? Because they don't know how to fly fish. That could be a clue that could help solve this. Or maybe a pawn shop or somebody else took it in, or you found a whole bunch of really cool fly fishing gear at a yard sale in July. But you can call 208-587-2121 if you know anything, and you can remain anonymous by calling that number and leaving a tip. Additionally, you can call your local law enforcement, state patrol, or anyone. Even if you're not in the state of Idaho or Washington or Montana, you can call and leave a tip, and say, look, I know something that may be related to the disappearance of this individual. Again, his name is Jack Forrest Thomas. Please help his family. And Mel, yes, it is over 6 years, but there are people who have been found an awfully long time after that. In Idaho recently, a photographer and somebody who was out scouting in an area for a hunt later on in the year just happened to stumble across a human skull. Now, I haven't delved into the rest of that, but it's on. You can go to Difficult Research YouTube channel. She posted that on her community tab this past week. He real happy. Yes, he always fished from the bank. No, he wasn't in the water. He was the area where it is where he was fishing is fairly narrow. It's not like a wide river. It's a narrow like section of the Payette River. So it's not that deep. And it's not rapids. It's not, it wasn't flooded. So it wasn't like the water was high or anything at all. But and thank you, Gina. I appreciate it. We don't know. We don't know, Mel. And that's the point of bringing awareness to it and bringing these cases out and putting it in front of as many eyes as I possibly can. Just like the child last week, who his mother, a non-custodial parent, may have taken him out of the country, or they could be anywhere in the U.S. This case, we don't know what happened to Jack. The odds are, yes, Jack is not alive. That is a very distinct possibility. But when they do a search, they're not just searching, 5 feet from the bank on there. They're spreading out, and they're doing a large swath of area, in a grid pattern in and around that area. And a very large, again, the area before where they knew he was last sighted, the area he was at, and then an area after where he wasn't known to be. They searched all that area in a grid pattern, and nothing of his was found anywhere. Did he walk away and then someone else did something? We don't know. It's all speculation at that point. And thank you, Mel. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I kept you, all for approximately 2 hours. I have to get up bright and early in the morning, so I do have to cut, tonight's stream there. Normally, I would let the chat go a lot longer, but I do have to boogie. I have to get my butt to bed. I get up early in the morning. As my daddy always told me, 4 a.m. comes mighty early in the morning. So, thank you again, everyone. Sal, thank you for another great video. Everyone have a great week. You as well, Sal. And I hope to see everyone again soon. In the meantime, everyone stay safe out there, and I will see you all again. Bye.